Today I would like to cover the basics of body development within Qigong. However, we must understand that development within Qigong is no different to development within sports at the beginning. You need to have considerable level of fitness, the capacity to mobilize the body under various conditions, capacity to exert force. Basic body weight exercise training, weightlifting, ability to pull, push, press, squat, engage the core in order to hold body weight in one, in order to hold the body in one line, so to speak. All of this must be there. Physical practice must be there beforehand. Movement practice must be there beforehand. It's like we want to go one level up from the our default. Our default is physicality. And we got to have it developed, got to have it mastered. Because rising above that which we have not mastered is difficult. It's not impossible. There are ways, but it's just difficult. So we got to have physicality nailed, developed. Capacity to move the body must be there. Capacity to exert physical force must be there. Then we enter something else, a different territory. And that's the territory of body development according to Yi-Jing-Jing, Sinew Changing principles. What are the sinews, first of all? Sinews are the lines of connective tissue which line alongside the meridians, fill the spaces between the muscles and the skin, between the muscles and the bone. Sinew channels are lines of connective tissue. They are what connects the body together, provided that they are accessed, provided that they are developed. And it is by stressing these tissues that we, practice within Qigong. Sinew channels relate to the liver system. So sinew channels, tendons, it's a liver system. They give our body that tightness, the tone to the muscles. Whereas muscles themselves, as well as connective tissue, which is involved in the process of sinew changing, known as Huan, relates to spleen system. The spleen gives the muscle its bulk, whereas liver gives the muscles its tone, their tone. We want to train both of them. That's why we need considerable amount of fitness to start with. And we must avoid two extremes in this training. First extreme is, I suppose not having training, not developing muscle mass. Skinny, wiry people, like too much over focus on the liver system. Tendony people, where you can see like the tissues kind of stick out. You can pretty much kind of grip the muscle, because muscle is like a wire. That's overstressing the liver system, that's excess. Or the opposite of it, another extreme, is that doughy kind of shape where you can't actually discern the muscle body as such. It's all sort of one doughy structure. That means spleen is deficient, muscle doesn't develop. Stodgy people who can spend a lot of time sinking qi develop that kind of body. Whereas wiry people who are constantly on the go develop the other kind of body, another extreme. So we don't want neither of these extremes, of course. If you are at some of these ends of the spectrum, well, the balancing out needs to take place. So we want some bulk of muscle and we want some amount of tone, that's it. When we have that, well, we can work on the principles of further stretching and strengthening the body. To keep the spleen healthy is easy in terms of Qigong. You just establish the structure as per Wu Ji and hang the muscles off the bone, let them hang. So that the stretch gradually builds up throughout the entire body. Muscle starts separating from the bone, creating this kind of micro tearing, if you like. which is not pleasant when you feel it. It's like you hold in a stretch, not different from holding a split or whatever. That's how muscles develop correctly in accordance with Sinew changing principles. Now, within these foundational Qigong exercises, we want to mobilize Qi, first of all. We want to keep the body healthy by means of movement. Yeah? The easiest way to mobilize Qi is movement, physical movement of the body. In a very mindful way, so to speak, correct way, slow and gradual way, with the alertness dwelling in the body. Movement which is devoid of alertness, which is fast, mindless, is not going to do it, because Qi is not there. Qi must be in the body, at least some amount of it. Yeah? It doesn't have to be crazy amount at first. So at first we want this kind of circulation, various circulations, various consolidations to be established in the body. Hence we are going to be going through this sequence of foundational Qigong, Jiban Qigong, so that we have them installed. So the body develops under the stretch. That's the physical part of it. The energetic part of it is that Qi comes first. That's why when we do all these exercises, we release, release the muscular effort, but we don't release the stretch. We don't collapse. The posture must be up, bones up, flesh sinks, stretches. In that way, we can ensure that the spleen system is stressed correctly and the liver system is not overstressed. For the Qi to fill up the spaces in the body and circulate, muscular tension got to go, but the stretch of the tissues got to stay, because stretch is what allows the Qi to conduct in the body. When there is stiffness, nothing will conduct. So we release and open and stretch. Thereby Qi will conduct. Qi is the first step. Qi then saturates, well, first you feel it in the skin, in the nervous system, tingling, various magnetic sensations between the hands. Those are completely irrelevant. We want to pass beyond them, and that's not easy. You just shift your attention to something else. You don't focus on those sensations like ants crawling around your skin, tingling, whatever. It's all mild. It's just a Qi in the nervous system. You want to go deeper, so that the Qi saturates into the connective tissue, into that very Huan. When Qi saturates into the Huan, there is engagement of the Huan. This honeycomb-like structure of connective tissues which fill all the spaces in the body, spaces between the organs, spaces between the muscles and the organs, spaces between the muscles and the bones. Like all these cavities in the body, they're not empty. There is connective tissue there. And that connective tissue is what getting engaged by the Qi. It's kind of like electricity is being pulled there, and instead of being just slug, they stretch. When they stretch, they start growing, filling out more and more of these spaces in the body. Spaces around the joints, spaces between the bones, between the organs. So there's the second step of the Sinew changing. Another step is that Qi saturates deeper into the muscle bodies. That's where muscles start to grow. Not in a way of bodybuilding, where muscles go under the stress, then you remove the stress, 2 months later they deflate. So you have to keep on pumping, eating in order to sustain that bulk. You don't want that. That's not the method of Sinew changing. A little bit of stress through lifting your body weight first is good, but the lifting external weight, so that the hypertrophy develops, is excessive. We want the Qi to saturate into the bones, into the muscles. well, into the bones as well eventually, into the muscles, so that the muscles grow under the influence of Qi. That's not quite aesthetically pleasant because various reliefs on the body start to disappear. Yeah, you're not going to be ripped from this kind of training. Unless you then go and put yourself on a diet and do some bodybuilding. It's not going to take away from you. But that's going to put up a different mechanism into the body, into the system. This is the crux of body development under this method, under the method of Qigong. That the body changes under the influence of Qi. It doesn't change under the influence of external weights, doesn't change under the influence of steroids or other biological additives. Under the influence of Qi, which is generated in the cells via interaction of the mind and the body. So we learn to change the body like that. Foundational Qigong is not gonna take you far in terms of, even in terms of Qi saturating into the muscle, not going to. That you need more deep internal work, Neigong, various mechanisms of consolidation and circulation of the inside of the Qi. Remember, it's another base of work. Qigong has been explained as the work whereby inside is pretty much still, whilst outside is moving. Yeah. Other bases of work like Neigong, whereby inside is moving, whereas outside is still. This is what's gonna saturate Qi into the deeper tissues. Qigong, at least in the foundational stages, ensures that the Qi circulates. That's all. And that's what we care about. Qi must circulate, must not be stagnating. Later processes of sinew changing past the muscles is that the muscles take a tendon-like quality. Again, under the influence of Qi, not under the influence of making them wiry intentionally via training tendons. Like rock climbers would have that kind of wiry musculature, but that's not the musculature developed through Qigong. Wiry musculature developed through Qigong is not does not have a relief on the outside which can be clearly visible. It's the relief which you can palpate. When you palpate it, there is kind of striation happening in the bodies of muscle all over. That's where the muscles have changed to have tendon-like quality. So when the muscles change to that quality, well, we have kind of achieved the sinew changing. And that's what sinew changing means. So that the muscle bodies have changed to have quality of sinews. Obviously, they changed under the influence of Huan growing into the muscle bodies and just everything becoming striated and saturated, like a drum skin. Through the stretch of hanging muscles of the bones and through the various other stretches which we put through the opening lagoon, through the stretch of the Yunchuan, the bubbling spring point here, through the spreading of the bones, gradual saturation of the Qi changes muscles into having that quality. Further, Qi saturates into the bones, into the marrow, but that's already a different process called marrow washing, no longer sinew changing. So marrow washing follows the sinew changing. Needless to say, Qi must have gone through the stages from the skin to the nervous system, to the connective tissues, to the muscles, to changing the muscles, to change the whole body into a skin of a drum. Then deeper Qi saturates and deeper into the bones, into the marrow, creating well, changes which are more on the level of consciousness and on the level of the other systems of the body, such as endocrine system, etc. But we are not concerning ourselves with this as yet. It's a foundational stage. Do not underestimate the foundations. If you don't have a correctly established circuitry within the body, correctly strengthened spleen system and the liver system, you're not going to have how you call it, a safety net to discharging the excess of qi, which can be developed later on in the practice. When you don't have it, qi just saturates into the nervous system, into the nerves of the spine, hits into the head, causing all sorts of symptoms on the spectrum of qi deviation sickness, which we don't want. It's unpleasant, counterproductive. When you have circuitry installed and developed, when the body is open, stretch is there, the excess of qi goes into the limbs and thereby dispersed, thereby it's kind of diffracted from the spine, removing stress from the nervous system, from the central nervous system. Then we install in a microcosmic orbit circulation, which again vouchsafes the circulation of qi, thereby preventing it from hitting us into the head and concentrating there, again causing various deviation symptoms, such as whatever, headaches, flashing lights, dizziness, the whole spectrum, pretty much all the way till hallucinations and delusions. And that's obviously counterproductive. You don't want to have psychotic break out of Qigong practice. So body development must be there first, before anything else. And body development must continue alongside other practices. Even when you hit higher stages of the practice, body development must still be there. First, we want to vouchsafe the health of the body. Yeah? That's kind of obvious. Some people neglect that, and the body breaks down earlier than it may have otherwise. That's first. Second is again to prevent discharge of the excess in the nervous system. So obviously, within body development, crucial role is placed upon the breath, and for Qigong, breath ought to be sung. Qi must sink. Yeah. So we have fields in the body. We have a lower field, which has to do with the kidneys and the dantian. Then we have a middle field, which has to do with spleen. And then we have this upper field, which has to do with the lungs. And the qi of the lungs is what we want to sink. Obviously, we have upper dantian and all the qi which continuously hits in there to stimulate our thought processes and feeling processes and all the other varieties of mental proliferation. You want to qi to think from there as well. You want to get boring. The qi, when it thinks from here, when it thinks from here, mental activity diminishes. It thinks from here, emotional activity diminishes. When the lung qi is anchored by the kidneys, I guess you become calm and unexciting. So for whoever is up to being calm and unexciting, this is the practice to do. Now this field around the spleen ought to be not engaged for quite a while, because when it is engaged, it sends out the heat through the body up, which again stimulates the nervous system. This area has to do with digestive fires. And when these are overstimulated, again, metabolism becomes a bit hyper, and the fires start burning through the body, causing qi to be erratic. So first of all, we consolidate and cultivate a lower field, which we do through the consolidating exercises, as per the program. Then Sanin building, to ensure that there is this magnet which draws lung qi from the upper cavity to here to be anchored, and does not engage this field as well, so that the metabolism happens, well, naturally, I guess, without excess. Stretch and stress of the tissues creates necessary stress onto the digestive system, onto the spleen system, so that our metabolism is normal. When there is no stretch, when everything's sunk and soggy, remember the meditator who falls asleep? Digestive fires get extinguished. That kind of collapse weakens the liver system, spleen system. You want the body to be upright, bones up, flesh down. That in itself ensures free circulation of the qi in this area. And everything else as well can sink alongside the spaces between the muscle and the bone where stretch is present. When everything has sunk, well, this is where we do Qigong. Yeah? This is where all these various circulation building exercises are taking effect. So the qi slowly, having been slightly pressurized here, then directed to various parts of the body, forming various circulations. It's not directed from here or from here, not from here, definitely not. It's from here, having first been consolidated. If it's done that way, there is a body development, body change in a correct fashion. Other than that, we gotta be stressing the mechanisms which we are habitually installed in us, whether we are more spleen inclined or liver inclined. Those aren't gonna be changed. So you ought to follow the principles as outlined in these teachings, these foundations.